Take your power back. As an actor, creating your own projects can bring unseen opportunities and blessings into your life and put the kibosh on feelings of desperation and powerlessness. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Jill Dalton, a working actor living in New York City. Welcome to my channel where I share insights, inspiration, audition tips, practical career advice, lessons I learned, and stories about show business. Thanks for being here. As actors, we depend on the kindness of strangers to book work, and this can bring up feelings of powerlessness, loneliness, fear, and desperation. This is where creating your own work comes in. First, I wanted to read this quote, or perhaps it's a poem by Elizabeth Gilbert from the back cover of her book, Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear. Creativity is sacred and it is not sacred. What we make matters enormously, and it doesn't matter at all. We toil alone and we are accompanied by spirits. We are terrified and we are brave. Art is a crushing chore and a wonderful privilege. The work wants to be made, and it wants to be made through you. As an actor living in New York City, I got sick and tired of waiting around for the phone to ring. I just felt hopeless. The downtime wasn't good for my psyche. All those negative thoughts started swirling around like, you're not good enough. You have no talent. Who are you kidding? I realized I needed to take my power back. I began creating my own opportunities. In the mid-90s, I couldn't get arrested. My agent dropped me. I lost my soap job on Another World. My husband left me for Hollywood. I was working the front desk of an aerobic studio, which was insane. I couldn't afford therapy anymore. So I was in 12-step programs. I was in ACOA for adult children of alcoholics. I was in CODA for my people-pleasing codependency issues. I was also doing stand-up comedy. Making no money, riding the subway home from Pip's Comedy Club in Sheepshead Bay at 3 a.m. Just me, the ex-cons, serial killers, and crackheads. In 91, the aerobic studio went out of business. My life had to change. A friend of mine told me about a class on how to write a one-person show. And there were lots of successful actors who had done one-person shows. So I took the class and began writing short solo pieces and performing them at a place downtown in the East Village called Surf Reality. At the time, the Lower East Side was a bit sketchy due to the crack epidemic. There was a very high crime rate. And my friends would come to see the show and they'd be like, are you trying to get us killed down here? I created a solo show once a month using the other people from my class. So we would each do a piece, only I would do two. I would open the show and close the show. It was called Talking Loud. It was on Saturday nights and it was always packed, but I also needed money. So I started doing extra work. And then I wrote my first complete solo play called Calling on God. And I performed that down there. Then I did one of my pieces at the first International Fringe Festival called I Always Cry at Weddings, which was about a jilted wife. Somehow I got a job on Dick Wolf's new TV show called Deadline. I was standing in for Hope Davis. I got the job because her regular stand-in was always late. I was never late. So one day they just gave me the job, which was great. However, the ratings were poor. So Deadline flatlined. But thank God for Dick Wolf because he had another Law and Order coming in called Criminal Intent. And so they asked me if I would be a regular in the squad room, which meant 2 to 4 days a week. It was a steady job. I was so grateful. So while I was there was a lot of downtime and holdings. I started writing a solo play called My Life in the Trenches about growing up in a military family with a colonel father and a Quaker mother. And I worked with a friend of mine that I met on the show. He ended up directing it, and the show did very well. And we did it for several years, and it won the Best of the Fest at Midtown International Theater Festival. I did a bunch of festivals. It did the Counterculture series at the Kitchen Theater in Ithaca, New York. And through writing and creating my own work, it shifted my focus completely. I was no longer obsessing over, oh, I'm going to get a job. Am I not? No, I was empowering myself by creating my own work. And sure, there was a lot of fear, a lot of fear. It was like, what if it sucks? What if I suck? What if What if? But you know what? Everybody's afraid. You just feel the fear and you do it anyway. That's a great book. If you haven't read it, check it out. Now get this. In 2006, I'm commissioned to write a solo play about Lizzie Borden. This is amazing. I'm getting paid to write a play. So I did. It was called Lizzie Borden Live, and it had its world premiere in Cape May, New Jersey at the Eastland Theater Company. And the original music was by Larry Hochman, who won the Tony for his orchestrations of Book of Mormon, and he's won like 4 Emmys. And this play also went on to tour. We did it in New York City, Sedona, Arizona, New Jersey, Providence, Rhode Island, Fall River, Massachusetts, and I won an award for my performance. Whenever I wasn't acting, I was writing, creating, performing my own work, and it allowed me just to relax and be more accepting of who I was and what I was doing. And work creates more work. Now, the downside. I booked a co-star in a major motion picture, but I had to turn it down because I was doing trenches in Ithaca, New York. And my manager was like, well, you just have your understudy go on. I said, I am the understudy. But creating your own works gives you agency and opens up other possibilities. And when I was performing my Trenches play, my director knew one of the Broadway producers from City of Angels, and he came to see the play and he loved it. So then he said, well, I'm going to bring my wife to see it. And she loved it. So they were interested in producing it, but due to his health issues and his untimely death, that didn't happen. I come from theater, so I write and perform plays. You don't have to do that. You can do anything you want. I have a couple of friends. They're an acting couple. They wrote and performed their own cabaret called Bad for You, and it was fantastic. And I know several actors that produce, direct, and act in plays. They get together and make it happen. And I have an actress friend who's also a painter, and she has shows around New York City. When I was doing all this, we didn't have iPhones, but today you can work with friends, write a script, shoot it on your iPhone, post it to YouTube, or send it out to a festival. There's a reason why stars start their own production companies and create their own projects. You just want to live your most creative life, whatever that is. It could be baking, gardening, working with shelter dog, and you won't discover it if you're just sitting around waiting for someone else to give you a job. It does take courage, tenacity, discipline. I spent a lot of money as well. Any money I made, I put it into those shows. It helps keep fear and anxiety at bay. I don't know if it banishes existential dread, but I think it helps. Thanks for watching. Please leave your comments, like and subscribe. Until next time, keep creating.